We're here at the Essex Studios, Studio 278 with Lyn Doll. Lyn, thanks for taking the time to share with us today.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for coming.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, so I have an art history degree and an art education degree from DAP Cincinnati. And so when I finished graduating, I was looking for a job, a teaching job, and I couldn't find one. So at that time, I took a job doing custom framing and learning that. And from there, I did custom framing ever since. So that's my background with framing. And that was in 1983. So I've been framing for quite a while.
Okay. And so how did you come up with the way you laid the shop out, and it's so inviting, and you have so much space, and you have a lot of inventory. Tell us a little bit about how you came up with the shop design.
Yeah, so my original retail spot was in Montgomery, and it was on the corner of Cooper and Montgomery, right in downtown historical district there. And so it was a retail location, and I loved it. Great clientele and great artwork to do framing for, and the people were fabulous for my clientele. So after about 30 years, I decided I did not want to do retail anymore. I wanted to just concentrate on specialty custom framing. So I called Trent up because I knew him from my daughter, who had space here, and he happened to have this particular space. So I just pared down all of my retail furniture and moved all of my inventory and all of my supplies here to this location. My large equipment, my compressor equipment and large radial saw and all of my underpinners are in a different location. So this is a great fun space for my clientele to
I noticed it's spotless. It's everything's so clean and organized. It's great. Now tell us a little bit about the process when someone walks through the door and say they have the piece, they don't, they just have measurements, or they don't know what they want. How do you guide them through the process? You know what?
That's my most fun part, really, because when someone brings in a piece of artwork, you already know that they love it. And they want to preserve it. They want to put it in a frame so they can see it and enjoy it. So my first task is to love on it. So I do a lot of learning about the piece, about why it's special to them, where it might be going in their home. And we just have a great conversation to begin with. I do my best to get a lot of information from them about color, about design, and then from there it's just very, very easy to pick out artwork. So if you spend the time with them talking about the piece and learning about them and why it's special to them, then everything else is really easy.
Yeah, because in my view, the frame kind of becomes part of the art. If it's contemporary, you do something different from classics.
Oh yes, so my background of art history and design really comes in handy with it's actually quintessential with what I do in the framing process. You have to know a lot about color, a lot about style, and about design to make sure that the artwork really stands alone on itself, but still is in its window and looks the most beautiful it can.
So how long have you been part of the Essex?
Okay, so I've been here since 1983 or 2018, and so that's been about 3 or 4 years. And since then, I've gotten to know quite a few of the artists here, and I really love it. I love the space. I love my neighbor, and I love the artists that I see coming and going from the building, and also when they need something framed here at the Essex.
Right. Now, other than, the advantages of being at the Essex, of course, you have, a plethora of artists that are right around, and so I'm sure they come. But what are some of the other advantages of being at the Essex?
Well, it's basically a community, and quite frankly, a lot of times if I have difficulty with a color, or I'm trying to mix a paint for touch up, I often will call upon my artist friends here, and they are very kind and very knowledgeable, and that's a great advantage to a custom framer, having artists right around the corner that can help you if you need it.
Yeah, I know you just reached out about a client that had a piece that kind of wanted the background changed or altered a little bit.
Yes.
Isn't that awesome? That's great.
Yes, yes, great advantage. Yeah.
And now, what would you say to someone that wants to start a frame shop that may, or something like that, you know, within the art field? You know, what are just a few little tips, you know, that you give them? I know there's a lot of expensive equipment, you know, time and management, and thinking about, you know, how do you want to schedule by appointment? Do you want to be open all the time? That kind of thing.
Well, right. For this particular industry, custom framing, you really do need to learn from someone else. So that's the very first advice I would give someone, is to learn under somebody else that's been a long-time framer. And here at Frame Concepts, I actually have a do-it-yourself center as well. And since I also have a teaching degree, I love teaching people how to frame. So if they want to do part of the work themselves, they can save money on the labor. I put everything together I cut the frames and cut the mats and the glass, and they just fit it, and I teach them how to do that. So in that respect, I'm still, you know, teaching people, and they get a great savings from doing it themselves. Yeah. So that would be the answer to that.
Absolutely. So, like, the name is Frame Concepts here at the Essex Studio 278. How can people get a hold of you?
Oh, I'm on, you know, Instagram, Facebook. My website is frameconceptstudios.com, and so you can find me that way. And then just Google framing in Essex, and I'll come up on that.
We'll also have a link at the bottom of your video here. So thanks for taking the time, Lyn. We really appreciate it. And thanks so much for being part of the Essex. It's awesome to have people like you doing this.
Well, thank you very much. Hope to see you here at Frame Concepts.